We're live, guys. We're live with none other than Merso and Ryan today. Merso has many talents. It really depends on the mood. One day he might show up as Merso, the Bosnian singer and grinder. Other days he might show up as Sanjeeb. You never know
Buddy,
what you're gonna
buddy.
get. Sanjeeb is fresh out of India, a very, very good dealer.
Very good.
Buddy. Ryan, on the other hand, is a solid dealer and grinder, an avid fisherman, and a deep sea diver. I learned that about you yesterday. I had to do some research, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
How you got into poker and how you got into dealing. A little background.
All right, I'll go first.
I pulled up your Hendemobs, by the way. That's gonna be for later. But yeah,
Uh,
Ryan, I couldn't find you on Hendemob.
nope, I'm sure not. I haven't played that much live tournament, so
Gotcha.
um yeah, so I actually moved to Florida a few years ago, and I was traveling back to Colorado. I met a guy on an airplane, and he was sharing that he is a poker dealer from Silks. He was boasting about his job. He loved the job and the dynamic in a poker room.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to talking, and he ended up being one of my first friends in Florida. He got me into Silks as a cashier brush, and I worked my way up to being a dealer. I went to Rockstar Dealing Academy. It was a wonderful experience for me.
Shout out to David Hall.
Shout out David Hall. And, I was unfortunately not able to make my way into Silks to become a dealer. When I made the transition over to Derby, it was a little nerve-wracking, but a very welcome change, and Derby has been a blessing. So
Nice. We all love Derby. So the plan when you were heading to, first of all, why Florida? And second of all, the plan wasn't anything poker related. It was just a coincidence. Just
very
because
much so coincidental. I kind of just picked a place. I wanted to get back to Florida because I wanted to be by the ocean. I felt a little landlocked in Colorado and had been there about a decade. When I came to Florida, I anticipated on doing some boat fabrication at Port of Tampa. I'm a welder. So when I came down here, I lived in Wesley Chapel, which was a little far from Port of Tampa, not so viable, and just kind of fell into the poker industry. I was always very fond of the industry. I had kept up with poker a lot, but never really had the opportunity. Florida has a great poker scene, so it just worked out well.
that's fact for sure. What was your background in Colorado? Did you play poker up there?
I did play a little bit of poker out there, Black Hawk and Cripple Creek. Black Hawk's a little more in the mountains. Cripple Creek was south of me. I lived in Colorado Springs. Both places are great. Some very nice casinos. And yeah, that's about it.
Interesting. All right, Merso, let's hear your story.
Well, I've been here in Florida since 2002, and I always played. These Bosnian games. We're like
Uh-huh.
my whole family. We all play some kind of games. There's like a game very similar to Rummy, but you get 19 cards and you play partners. So I was always intrigued by playing cards. Even as a
Mm-hmm.
kid. And I turned 18, and I went to Derby with a buddy to play, and I was just watching. I had no idea, and I was like, "Oh, can I play?" And they're like, "Yeah, you can play." I'm like, "I don't know how to play," and they're like, "Yeah, you can play. We'll teach you as we take your money." I'm like, "Ah, cool."
Can
So
we
I
name the
got
buddies
it.
or we don't know them?
One of no, he doesn't live here any longer.
Okay,
So yeah, a Bosnian buddy, gypsy buddy,
gotcha.
and so I started playing at Derby since 2004. I just turned 18, I started playing, and then I played all the way up to like a couple of years when I started dealing. And
I
I really
I've actually played with you a couple times, and you got way out of line. Let's pull up your hand mob. I saw it yesterday. It's pretty. It's all like 1 year. The whole, all the scores are in 2023. Why 2023? You didn't play tournaments before then? It was only cash.
no well I stopped playing cash about 10 years ago. I started playing more tournaments, but I started playing more like the smaller buy-ins, like $60
Mm-hmm.
buy-ins, just to kind of get a feel, because I used to play every day. So I wanted to manage being able to play more tournaments instead of just playing one or two tournaments a week. I would play 4 or 5 tournaments a week. And
Mm-hmm.
then and I work my way up. Like when I was free rolling, I get into a bigger buy-in and bigger buy-in and so on. And
Mm-hmm.
when some satellites and get into, I felt like it's a challenge for me to take $60 and turn it into 500 and turn the 500 into, it was just more of a challenge, not really about the money, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I like about tournaments is we all get the same stack, and now let's see who's gonna take it down.
Well said. Yeah, everybody's equal at the beginning of the tournament, no matter how much money you have, no matter who you are. So
Yes,
let's look at the scores. Pretty consistent. January, Feb, every month you have like cashes. Mostly at Derby, Win Derby.
that's how I play.
200 no rake. 200 no rake. Oh, that's the one they ran on Fridays.
No, it was Tuesdays back in the day. Well, a couple of years ago.
2023. I don't think the Tuesday was going on.
Yeah, they had a $200 no rake on Tuesdays.
Was it? Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So 200 no rake. Then January, same thing. February also win Derby 200 no. Wow, you were like the king of no rake, cashing almost every 2 weeks.
I was running
100.
good. I was running good.
All of them are 75K guaranteed. You came 11th. Wow. Let's see. Let's see who shipped that one. Oh, look who it is. Ken O'Donnell. I was gonna mention him earlier.
Yeah, we played at the final table on like it was a multi tournament, and we were at the table when we bagged, me and Kenny.
Wow, that's a sick final table. Ken O'Donnell, Clyde Malioka, Elizabeth Proven. All of these guys have like close to $1 million in earnings. Elizabeth
Yeah,
is a crusher. Clyde is a crusher. Van, I don't know who that is. Craig Rice, definitely a regular at Derby. David Nadeau, regular here.
Clyde knocked me out.
Oh, Clyde did.
Yeah, he got so lucky, man. I can still remember that day.
Clyde gets out of line big time.
It was Ace King. I had Ace King. I think he had Queen 10, and he flopped the Queen.
And when did the money go in on the flop?
Pre-flop. He was chipping every hand, man. I folded some big hands. We were down to 11 players, 2 tables, and it was just shipping. I was folding premiums, pockets, like pocket tens, pocket nines, and he was just running my stack down. The blinds were sold high,
Mm-hmm.
and I was below average. And I mean, I looked at Ace King, and he was kind of picking at me. Everybody else just folding, but I was, getting premiums and just folding, and I kind of got tired of it. I'm like,
Why
Ace
would you
King.
fold premiums? Like, was it like 3-bet, 4-bet pre? Like, why are you folding
Yeah,
pocket tens? He was putting pressure on you?
it was putting a lot of pressure, and we were so close to the final table. I was like, I'm not gonna get involved. But then my
Gotcha.
stack, got so low that I had no choice, because I had 3 or 4 hands left before I'm in the big blind, and my stack is in no matter what.
Yeah.
So
See, these are when it's down to 2 tables, these are the spots where you should take. Like ICM is in play, but you gotta gamble a little bit to build a stack, or else you're not gonna have a chance to win the tournament. There's two
yeah,
school of thoughts. Some people tighten up, some people loosen up. I think you
I,
yeah,
should.
I think even if there's ICM, the ICM pressure is so much smaller. Like the difference in payouts from, I don't know, 13th to 10th, it's pretty much nothing. It's like one buy-in. But if you build a little stack, you could times it 30, 40 binds, if you get really deep. So I agree with Carl, especially when there's 2 tables left. I usually just go nuts and just try to get a stack right there, because another 2 or 3
I've
hours in the
seen it.
tournament for another 1 or 2 buy-ins, it's not going to make that much of a difference. But again, building that little stack, you will end up busting more frequently, of course, but you will end up winning the tournament way more frequently. And obviously that's what we're shooting for, not just for the title, but money-wise, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
that's what good players do. They go to the final table with stacks. Like Julio, for example, he knows how to build stacks. You're never gonna see Julio short, like grinding 12 big blinds at the final table. He's either gonna go for it or go busto.
All or nothing.
Yeah, but I mean, not in a maniacal way. Like you got to do it. It's controlled chaos. Like you
course.
got to know when to put your money in, not just like some people like gambled like ace 3 off or something. Somebody goes all in for 25 bigs and you're calling it off. Like that's straight gambling. You got to.
Yeah, we're not calling off stacks, but we're putting pressure every single hand, especially if we have them covered. But we're not going to be calling off just people because they got 12 bigs and I got an ace. Like, we're not doing that, but we're definitely going for it ourselves. We're taking the initiative. We're going to go for it. If we bust, we bust. It is what it is.
Yeah, Clyde kind of pushed me in that corner. And when I folded those 10s, I was last to act, and I folded 10s face up and he looked at me like, yo, did you just fold that?
Yeah, because he's never doing it. That's why he looked at it. Like,
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give an example since we mentioned Ken O'Donnell. I was playing Saturday, the single day at Hard Rock. It was 14K up top. It was a 50K guaranteed, 220 buy-in. It was a really good tournament. They had a sick turnout. They had like 400 players show up.
Wow.
I love when I'm playing against pros because you're never gonna see Ken O'Donnell knit it up. I was moving all in with like 12 bigs. The first time I moved king 3 off on the button, way out of line, but I'm on the button. I have to go through 2 players and king high is the nuts there. It's not like printing money, but the times I gained 2.5 bigs, I'm happy with it. He called me with king 4 off. We ended up chopping, but like nobody else, no nits at Hard Rock or anywhere else are gonna call off with king 4 off. The second time he snap called also, and I moved with like 15 bigs with pocket 3s, which it's a little bit loose. He called me with king 10 off, and there's a bunch of people behind him. He just doesn't he just puts the chips in because he doesn't grind a 15 big blind. He wants to build stacks.
Yeah.
And the fact that he called me with king 3 off, king 4 off, and he was ahead is sick. And then king 10 off, like 15 bigs. Amateurs are gonna look at me there and fold ace queen off.
Yeah,
they'll fold. They'll be like, once they hear all in, even if it's like short stack, they think it's too much and they fold too much. That's why tournaments, the small dailies, last so long because people tighten up so much. Like you can tighten up, you're gonna min cash a lot, but you're not winning tournaments like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. What do you guys prefer, dealing cash or tournaments? Let's go with Brian.
All right. I like dealing tournaments, especially some of the better tournaments. Not some of the $60 6Ks. More of the higher end tournaments because I feel like the players all play really well. The dynamics at the table go smoothly. Everybody's paying attention to action, and everything is just very fluid. A lot of the conversations at the table are very good. They're very entertaining. So for me personally, I enjoy the tournament.
Oh, that's a good point. I feel like you're very passionate about the game. Like,
yes.
So when you're dealing, you're paying attention of what's going on. Like you're watching the action just because you like the game, not just dealing.
It's almost like I'm playing myself. A lot of times I'm making reads on players. I'm thinking about chip stacks and positioning and all sorts of things. While I'm dealing, I am very in tune with the game.
Ryan, I'm glad you said that because I was just going to ask you 2 things. First, I wanted to ask you, where were you playing in Colorado and Blackhawk? Because obviously that's the only area with casinos, but you have multiple poker rooms there. And where were you playing at? What were you playing?
I was primarily playing actually in Cripple Creek.
Okay.
My dad is actually very into poker, and he's the one that kind of got me acclimated. And I would go down to Cripple Creek, and I would typically play lower stakes cash, 1-2,
Okay.
pretty much specifically 1-2. It wasn't until I came to Florida that I really started diving into tournament. I wasn't playing very big tournaments. I was just trying to get better. And I will say that I like tournament style poker a little bit better than the cash.
Why? What's the attraction?
I honestly, I feel like there is more, almost like more skill involved in the tournament side, just because, constantly blinds are moving up and you are obligated to put your chips in sometimes when it's more advantageous to you as opposed to just paying $1, $2, folding every hand, waiting for a premium, or even possibly getting aces and then being called by 5-3 offsuit and having your aces be cracked in cash or something. You wouldn't typically see something that out of line happen in tournament.
Agree.
Yeah, so there's so many things, so many intricacies to the game that you have to think about when it involves tournament because there's a time frame. So I just feel like there's a different level of dynamic and understanding of the game that you have to have for tournaments and actually winning tournaments or just reaching the money. If you are in a position where you have a small chip stack, you either go for the gusto and try to make a deep run and win the tournament, or you tighten up and you dwindle chips and you just try to cash. So there's a lot of different avenues you can go, but I feel like tournament is just more intricate of a game.
No, well said. Well said. There's a
Very well said.
long rivalry between cash game players and tournament players. Cash game players think tournament players are idiots, and vice versa. But the with the solvers, with certain players coming up on scene and seeing how consistent tournament players can be, I think they get more respect now. There was a debate back in the day that tournament players are idiots. They just know how to play short stacks. They don't know how to play deep. It's been kind of debunked. Like tournaments, like you said, there's different dynamics that it's never the same. I always say it. Like cash, it's always the same. In cash, you're always over 100 bigs minimum.
Yes.
It's always the same scenario. The positions are changing, but your stack is always deep. So there's no pressure of the clock, like you said, the time constraint.
Mm-hmm.
Second, the blinds are never going up, so you don't have to study different stack sizes.
Yes.
Like knowing how to play 15 to 8 big blind stack is a science. I still mess it up. I still go on my phone afterwards, even though it's frowned upon. But after the hands, and I look because I have charts from solvers and stuff, and it gets there's at 12 bigs, you got to mix in between limps, opens, and shoves, and good luck memorizing all that.
So, would you guys agree? I'm sorry, Carl. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just talking about the different dynamics in the tournament, and that's what makes it fun. Go ahead, Julio.
And I agree with what you're saying. And I was specifically going to use the word fun because tournaments are way more fun because the clock is running and you're actually trying to beat people and win first place. It's a competition like any other sport. Whereas in cash game, you're just sitting there patiently waiting for your spot. But will you say there's more skill in tournaments with respect to knowing what to do with 8 big blinds, 10 big blinds, 12 big blinds, 14 big blinds? The same hand from the same position is played different ways, right? However, there's way more skill in cash games with respect to reading people because you're sitting there 300 big blinds deep and you got to know where you're able to stack them and get full value or where you have to. Because, say, for example, you start a hand in a tournament with 19 big blinds. Maybe you raise, you get a call, you c-bet. It's very rare you're going to fold a top pair there when you're that short, right? Now, where you're 300 big blinds deep, it's just so complicated, and you have so many situations where you're folding stronger hands or going for thin value. So I would say the skill level in tournaments has to do more with working with memorization and reading people with respect to how they're scared of making money, if they're just going for it, versus a cash game. You're really testing your patience, but you really have to read your opponent, because your mistake is going to cost you, I don't know, 300, 400 big blinds. It's a lot more cost than 19 big blinds.
Very good point. Mistakes in cash are amplified because, like you said, when you have 19 to 15 big blinds and somebody shoves, you're committing. Like you flop second pair, you're not folding. You flop top pair, even if it's a shitty kicker, you're committing with that stack. So the mistake is not great. But in cash, you make that mistake for 300, 400 big blinds, that's going to hurt. So that's where the skill comes in cash. Your mistakes are going to be bigger, and major lessons learned in cash. Somebody came to mind. I'm seeing posts on Facebook. I'm not going to mention the guy's name, but it's like ironic. I've been seeing this guy's post every day he's asking for backers, and it's kind of like comical because the guy has no results, but he's kind of like, he's almost like blaming people for not putting him in tournaments because they don't give him enough bullets to fire. And when he mentioned,
I'll stop doing it now. It's fine. I'll stop.
Stop, Julio. Stop posting. But what's comical is when he wants to present his results, like, you know, most people put the hand in the mob, like, hey, this year I made this much, that much, just to show consistency, so people back you. This guy, the way he states his results is like, oh, I had 15 cashes out of 30 buy-ins, and I had 1 win or 2 wins, but he doesn't show results. I looked up his results. I'm like, okay, maybe this guy is a crusher. I think he has like 30K in earnings, and he's talking a big game. That's the thing with poker. Some people talk a big game, but they have nothing to back it up. If you don't have numbers to back up, like, there's a lot of delusions in poker. But anyway, I wanted to touch on that.
Carl, can I know we're talking to Ryan and Merso, but I just remember something.
Yeah,
and, now it makes me laugh. Because I saw an interview at the Table One podcast with Chris Mormon recently. I don't know if you guys know Chris Mormon, but he was an online crusher 20 years ago. So he on the 2+2 forums, he started offering like stakes for different didn't go players, but obviously you have to show results, right? So I decided to create a new full tilt account and play thousands of sit and goes, so that I could show him the shark scope graph and apply for the, for the stake, because I wanted to play really high. Thing is, I start grinding like $2 sit and goes, and I go to like 5, 10, 15, 20, playing the way to $100 sit and goes. And I got this is back when full tilt started and people had no idea what they were doing. I had a 99% ROI, which is insane. And I was running insanely hot for like 3,000 tournaments, right? So I apply, and he just completely denies it. Like, he's like he denies the stake. Like, he tells me, no, I can tell that you opened an account recently, and like 3,000 tournaments is not enough, and I don't know who you are. I'm just gonna pick another 5 people. And I remember being so pissed off at him for years. Like, I just wanted to strangle him every time I saw him in Vegas.
I have questions.
Anyway,
I have questions. The 3,000 tournaments over what stretch of time?
Man, I did it in like 2 months.
Okay,
wow. Online, of course. Online.
It's a big sample if we talk in live, because I don't even play 3,000 tournaments live in a year. But online, it's a small sample, so variance could play a part. Now, 99% ROI is sick. I was having a conversation with ChatGPT yesterday. It's sick. You can talk to him about hand. I broke down a hand I played at the Derby. Actually, I think Merso dealt it. And he'll give you the GTO solution, and he'll give you like the exploitative play, and he'll give you what the optimal. It's insane. ChatGPT, like, we need to worry, because I think in a few years the machines are taking over. Like Terminator, they said 2029, Cyberdyne or whatever the company is going to take over. It's happening. We'll see in 3 years what happens if the machines take over. But anyway,
Carl, let me finish the story. He was absolutely right. Like, 6 months later, my total ROI went down to like 7%. Like, it went back to like he was absolutely right that I was just running hot for no reason. He was able to read it right away. So I ended up being a big winner for like tens of thousands of tournaments. My ROI went down to like 7%. And anyway, I didn't want to like kill him anymore or anything. And I didn't
Your
feel that bad.
ROI went down to how much?
To like 7%. We're talking about sit and goes only, not multi-table tournaments, which should be a lot higher. But it ended up being 7% at the end of my full tilt career on sit and goes.
I mean, how many tournaments total?
Tens of thousands.
Tens
Like
of
almost, yeah, probably, because I ended up, and I shouldn't have, and I will say one time I got banned from a website because I had 2 accounts, not at the same table, but I would, because they have notes on you and whatever.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So probably like 7,000 sit and goes at some point. But yeah, anyway, no staking for me.
Damn, he turned you down. I was
Yep.
gonna say something about ROI. Like, what's a good ROI for a tournament player? I was looking at mine. I'm tooting my own horn here, but mine is this year 19%, which is not bad. But ROI is like 67%, and I think anything over 50% is reasonable. And cashing at a rate 19 up to like 25, 26, 27 is like you're a crusher if you're cashing at that rate.
You're talking, let's be clear, you're talking about live tournaments, though.
Live
Online,
tournaments, yeah, of course.
Online,
of course.
those numbers are impossible.
Yeah. Online, it's like everything is amplified by 100.
Yeah.
Like
all right,
this year,
sorry,
I played
from Ryan and Merso. I just remembered being so
No,
pissed
no.
at this
Fine, bro.
because
We're
I
going
worked so
back.
hard for 2 months, and this guy just rejected me, and it hurt my little heart. Immaculate.
Feelings hurt.
Merso, let's hear from you about what do you like to deal better, cash or tournaments, before we move on.
Well, as a dealer, obviously it will be cash, but what I prefer, what's a better game, like Ryan mentioned, it's tournaments. I like when I don't have to like tell players what to do. They already know what to do and they're in the game. They understand the game. Then sometimes I get a little frustrated when I know players know what they're doing and they're just folding out a turn and get off the table. And even in tournaments, and I'm like, yo, you're not supposed to do that, right? Well, I know, but I gotta go to the restaurant. I'm like, well, you gotta wait your turn, bro.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Some people don't know that it's frowned upon in tournaments. Like you get in penalty.
I've caught some players that I played there for 20 years, so, and that's what I actually really enjoy about dealing at Derby is I know all the players. I played with all the players, like 95% of the players I was at a table, and that, I really like being part of, the dealers there while I'm still, connected with the players, it's really beneficial for me, and I like Ryan said, tournaments, when it comes on to a better game to deal, I like tournaments because I see it more competitive as of cash. And
Are you watching what's happening? Like, are you trying to learn anything?
uh, in which regards?
Like when the game is when you're dealing and there's like a couple of good players at the table, are you like watching what they're doing or are you just focusing on dealing?
I mean, it's really hard because I wanna pay attention to the players more and try to get a read. But honestly, like being a player for so long, I kind of already have like a feeling of what they could have.
You
And
try to guess it?
yeah,
You try
yes.
to guess what they could have in big spots?
Yeah, 100%. And like I'm usually right like 80% of the time. Like I can call the hand out in my mind, and like when it comes down to showdown, boom. And sometimes I slip out and I'll be like, I knew you had that, And I know we're not really supposed to say that or, encourage any play style or anything, but it's just the player comes out of me because I played for 20 years and I'm only a dealer less than 2 years, So it's just still in my mind that I'm always in the game, and I enjoy that.
Lately, because we've been talking about these subjects on the last 2 or 3 podcasts, and I've had like solid dealers on. I've been looking at what, like yesterday, a dealer in a big spot, and who touched up on it? Johnny Bell. Shout out to Johnny, man. He made that podcast insanely successful. He talked about dealers like doing the slow tap in big spots, like on the river. They do the double tap slowly, and they slow roll the river. I saw it yesterday. I'm like, oh my god. When I see that, when I see dealers talk about strategy after the fact, they be like, it happened also a couple days ago. I'm not gonna name the venue, but the dealer was like, "Oh, that was a snap call. Like, it was an open guy shoved for like 12 bigs. The guy folded like Queen Jack suited, I think, and the dealer at Showdown was like, "Oh, that's an easy call. That's just." I'm like, "You're a dealer. You should never comment
No.
on strategy. You could hurt the guy that's like moving short. Maybe he's bluffing. Like, these people are playing for money, even though it's a small tournament, but it doesn't matter. It's etiquette. Like, you don't as a dealer, don't talk about strategy. Don't talk about percentages. Leave that talk to players. Not as a dealer. I always say it. One word: neutral. You're neutral. You're not invested at all. Peel the cards. Don't slow roll. Don't talk about strategy after the fact. That's the makeup of a good dealer. Go ahead, Julio. It looks like you had something to say.
Well, I two things. I don't want to say the name, and obviously this doesn't happen at Derby Lane because all the dealers are the best. They're professional. So we're talking about the Hard Rock here for a second. There's one dealer at the Hard Rock. I don't know if you know who it is, Carl, but when he puts out the river, he will flip it and then catch it. Like, the car will spin and then catch it and then look at it and then boom, put it out. And I
know who it is.
God, why are you like, what? Just put it out there. Just,
you know who used to do that? Shout out to Ridley. I'm gonna put a Ridley one time. I got slow rolled by a player, and then he slow rolled me too. Like, the guy needed an ace, and Ridley looked at it, and like, he went like this, like it was an ace, and it wasn't. So I won the pot, but he slow rolled me too. Like, as a dealer, don't look at the card first, and those are small things you're never gonna see. Like, on a try and stop, you're never gonna see in 100K buying a dealer looking at the card first and then putting it at the. This shows you that dealer is invested in the hand, and he wants to know first what the card is before showing it to the players. I don't know what the science behind it, what the mental like, where are they thinking in that spot? Peel the cards. Again, I mentioned what's his name? Dealer from Derby. He peels the cards, bam, bam, bam. You don't even Angelo. Peels the cards.
I remember that talk.
In big spots, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be turn, river in split seconds, and then showdown, and then he ships the pot to the winner. There's no waiting, no slow roll.
Professional.
I like Angelo. When I used to play, he was on it.
You know what? Both of you too. You don't slow roll, nothing out of line. You don't talk strategy after the fact. I've seen you deal. You're both solid. You run a tight ship. Merso, you keep it fun. We got to see Sanjeev. We haven't seen Sanjeev today. What's going on?
Let me tell you something right now. Okay. Yesterday, you kind of made me mad. Okay. But I will let it slide for you.
There we go. This is Sanjeev. He's back from vacation. Yeah.
For Sanjeev and Ryan. Both Sanjeev and Ryan. Ryan first, though. I know you guys are paying attention again because you were playing poker before. So you're thinking, oh, maybe do I know what they have? Am I right? You ever, because I've seen it, not you guys, but I've seen it, without anyone asking, do you ever take a little peek, just kind of like when you're picking up the mug, if there was a showdown, maybe you look, make sure you're right sometimes?
I will never look at a player's hand if they muck it, ever.
Okay.
And there's a lot of times where I'm so invested in the hand that I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta know what they had, but I don't. I know that it's, I feel like from a player perspective, a player could be upset with me for that. And as far as me being there and being professional and there to do a job, it is not in my wheelhouse to know what your cards were, So there are many times where I would love to take a look, but I never do.
What about Sanji? I think Sanji might.
Buddy, look, let me tell you something right now, okay? A lot of times they tell me, want to look? No, I agree with Ryan. I do have players like bro, put this to the side. Look at what I just folded. I'm like, bro, like I would love to, you know what I mean, but I can't. Like my face might change. I know I can keep a straight face, but still, like now you're giving information even without me looking at them. Now you're telling people that you folded a premium or whatever, you know. It's just the player in me wants to, but I don't. Okay,
Okay,
Yes.
buddy.
buddy, I was looking at online and this video, like, what was the budget for this? It's a big budget video. Was that with the record company? Who made this happen?
That's all Sanjeev.
Sanjeev made it happen, all out of pocket.
All out of pocket. All I didn't have nobody help me, or I paid for everything. And thankfully, a lot of the stuff in my music videos is all family, friends coming in together. You know, I didn't have to rent any cars. That was actually my car. That was my
If you
M6,
want to
which I
plug
still
anything in this video, whoever helped, are these all friends and family in the video? The people
friends
are
and
going to see?
family. Yep, yep. That was my sister's house. That's my car there, and then my
Wow.
cousin's car.
Okay, let's see the Bosnian side of Merso.
Oh yeah. Lock it in.
The Lambo.
Vesela je kuća moja, došlo dosta prijatelja, došla moja familija, moj se ponosi jačina. Vesela je kuća moja, došlo dosta prijatelja, došla zlatna familija, moj se ponosi jačina. Veselje nam srećno bilo, djeco moja, hajde živo, zavižili bili svi, najjači i najbolji. Veselje nam srećno bilo, djeco moja, hajde živo, zavižili bili svi, do godine unuka dobili.
I love it.
Thank you,
I
bro.
mean, everything is top notch. First of all, the vocals are on point. Everything, the scenery, the way it was shot. This is good quality. Like, it's catchy, even though I don't understand Bosnian, but it's a catchy song. First of
Thank
all,
you, bro.
you've had any singing lessons?
No, naturally.
Natural talent.
Natural talent.
Never
I
had
mean,
singing lessons or music lessons.
no, sir. I mean,
Wow.
I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm good or whatever, but it's just ever since I was like a little kid, I always loved music. Like I only like Bosnian gypsy music, you know. And
No, but I
just
mean,
growing
the
up,
quality of your voice is better than half the people that get on American Idol and all the those, like, you can sing.
I
You can
I
sing.
appreciate that. I appreciate.
Is
I mean,
there is there
Yeah.
any software to fix the vocals, or this is it?
I mean, there's
Organic.
like, I mean, there in the studios they're gonna have some adjustments, obviously, to make it more crystal clear and stuff.
Mhm.
But I do have a singing voice, you know. And,
I can tell. No, I'm not saying this because you're here. It's quality. I was surprised. I've seen other videos that weren't edited, like back in the day. They weren't as good as this. The vocals were on point, but this, the way it was shot, everything. Who helped you film it?
well, it was a company. I was actually singing at a wedding. I did a lot of weddings. I used to only sing for weddings and like private parties, private events. And I liked the way they did their wedding, and I reached out to them and said, hey, you know, I'm in need of a video shoot, and I know you guys did a wedding. I'm pretty sure you guys are capable of doing a music video. They're like, yeah, and we came to agreement, and we shot that in one day, the whole video.
Wow. Was there ever a dream to become a professional singer, like make it a career?
Here's the thing, like I never looked at it as it was more of a hobby.
Hobby? Okay.
Yeah, I just enjoyed it. Like I really do. I always an entertainer. I mean, you can see it at my tables. Sometimes, like maybe it's too much, but that's just my personality. I'm not never trying to just be funny. It's just who I am, and that's what I like about working at Win Derbies, because they allow us to be ourselves and we can have our personalities. And I know a lot of players enjoy that, and some players don't, but out of 8 players, 1 will not and 7 will. So I'm happy if I can make 7 people laugh,
You do make more than 7 people laugh. Yeah, the environment at Derby is like no pressure. Everybody's nice. Shout out to all of them, by the way.
For sure.
Everybody is nice over there. It's like it's like a whole big one big family. How do you guys keep cool when things get heated at the table? How do you keep it professional?
In this industry, I feel like as a dealer, it's pretty important to have thick skin. When people are losing money, or other players are getting under their skin, tensions can get very high. It's important to keep things cordial and calm. If you start an interaction with some calmness, usually you can de-escalate situations before they get a little too out of control. And even when players are coming at you inappropriately, just allow them to kind of have their moment of frustration. More times than not, you will see people actually come back and apologize, maybe for acting out of line because of something that they said when they were upset. So it's very important to keep a level head, and honestly, de-escalation is big priority. So
de-escalation is you got to be. Some people are just pro at it and they're natural. Just dealing with people like with respect, like even when you're de-escalating, there's ways to de-escalate. Some supervisors are not that good at it. Some supervisors are just natural at it. Merso, how do you I've never seen, I mean, I'm sure you've had instances where things got heated at the table. How do you deal with it?
I always speak to them, like when they go about like, oh well, I just lost all this money, blah, stuff like. And I can always agree with them, because I was that person on the other side, so I know exactly how they feel, and I just just tell them, hey, we all choose this game, we do it because we love the game. You lose today, you're gonna come back tomorrow, and you're gonna win it double. You're gonna make it double back. And when they get frustrated, I let them get their frustration out. And I usually, even if they go towards another play, I'm like, hey, if you want to scream or yell at somebody, just do it to me. Like, leave them out of it. Like,
it takes a big personality to be able to do that.
And I usually do that, honestly. And then they, like, as soon as I say stuff like this, that's my way of de-escalating it. Like, when I bring attention to me, like I'm the bad guy here, so just shoot me, bro.
I mean, poker. Ryan touched up on a good subject. Poker, things get heated in poker. Like, it's an emotional game. Like he said, you're playing for money. I get worked up when I bust. Like, when I bust for 5-10 minutes, don't talk to me. Even I see players, it's like awkward because I know I'm not gonna be me, the happy-go-lucky. For 10 minutes, I need to regroup. So yeah, I get it.